30, and I have a social media brand called Blacks in the Burbs. This will be my first podcast taping. And because it's my first podcast taping, I wanted to give up my chat chair a little bit because I'm usually the one asking the questions in my videos. And I wanted to introduce and invite a few phenomenal women to come and help me with this chat. Miss Abby West. Abby West is now a senior marketing manager at Audible. She is the former executive editor of Essence.com and an Entertainment Weekly and People magazine veteran. A self-described pop culture fanatic, she is a firm believer in the power of storytelling and is working on her first book. Marcia Cole. Marcia is a veteran media executive, entrepreneur, and transformational life coach. She has over 25 years as a media executive and has worked for AOL, Essence, Fairchild. Marcia is currently the Chief Creative Officer and founder of Ivy Digital. Sylvia Alston, last but not least, and Sylvia and I actually became friends. I think I've known you the least, but I mean, she's like my neighbor, and our kids go to the same school, and we just kind of fell in love with each other like one day at the train station, right? Sylvia is the Vice President of Risk Strategies Company, the 16th largest national insurance brokerage in the U.S. with 20 years of results-oriented experience in the insurance industry. Her focus has been in the space of high net worth asset protection and risk management. Okay?
We're here today to talk about becoming Michelle Obama, who, as the first African-American FLOTUS, I know, I kind of love saying forever FLOTUS, but as the first African-American First Lady, we knew from the jump that she was going to have a massive impact, as they were campaigning, and everything that was thrown at her through every single slight, every single article that was written, and we all read into everything, and we knew the impact she would have. So it's not surprising to come out 8 years later and have her be so massive for all of us. And I'd love to talk a little bit and hear from all of you about what she means to you in sort of in every space, as a woman, as a professional, as a mother, and just as a professional.
For myself, and I'm Rakiba, again, I can admit that I hadn't finished the book. And I was just sharing with these ladies, like, when I'm finished, I want to pass it on to my soon-to-be 13-year-old, because I see so much of my 12-year-old in Mrs. Obama. And the way that she's so, even at a young age, she was so driven, so focused, knew that she wanted to be somewhere, someplace bigger than Chicago. But she had the foundation of home of Chicago. And that's something that pulled me in. Being, like, I grew up in that same environment. Even though my parents were divorced, I still had the foundation of home. Going to grandparents' houses, and when she spoke about how the great aunts and the cousins and the extended family all gathered.
Another thing that I feel like makes Michelle Obama so relatable is just the hard work on her trajectory. I mean, when you look at past presidents, or even, some very successful people in America, unfortunately, it is what they've been passed down. It is generational wealth, right? And with Michelle, her family being there to support her and being such staunch advocates for education, and then just the way she sort of painstakingly takes you through every step of her career. Like, I went to school, went to Princeton, then I had this job. It's just steadily moving up and up. I thought was very relatable, especially to most of the Black women that I know. We don't have anything to fall back on, but we make for ourselves. Yeah. And I thought that was incredible.
Yeah, I feel like for us, all we had was Oprah, right? And now, like,
And Claire Huxtable.
Who was a character. She wasn't a real person. Now we have somebody who's not only an African American woman, she was a mom. Mm-hmm. She's a businesswoman. She's a lawyer. She's fluent. The only other thing left for her to do is be president of the United States.
But she said
She won't.
Which she won't do, and I respect that. I mean, I totally understand, because watching what her husband went through, what she went through just as Lotus, I can understand where she's coming from with that. Yeah, especially the way this country is. So, for me, Michelle Obama just represents everything that we are as Black women.
The difference is that she didn't go to church as much as maybe my family did, but otherwise, it was like, and I'm so much a daddy's girl. My dad wasn't ill, but he was very much a presence in my life and a presence in the neighborhood.
So he was like Southside.
Yes.
Yeah, I love that.
My name is Erna Blackman, and I too grew up in Jamaica, Queens, and St. Albans, and Springfield Gardens. And I actually went to Jamaica High School. And what I remember is, I think it was chapter 5 or 6, where they said that she wasn't Princeton material.
Yes, the counselor.
When I read that, it hit home because the same exact thing happened to me at Jamaica High School. My guidance counselor told my parents that maybe she should go to a trade school. Wow. Yeah. Maybe she shouldn't go to college. Maybe she's not college material. Now, I went to Delaware State, it's a HBCU. I went there, and I think I did okay at this point. But it's just important to little girls to hear that. Did you hear that? Pushing. Don't let anybody stop you from achieving your dream, because there are people out there that are out there to stop you.
I think Black children in general, not just little girls, little Black children in general.
Yeah, who had a very hard time with getting up in the morning and going to class because they had never been on their own and their parents had done everything for them, and that wasn't her background. She had always been, self-directed and self-motivated. I ascribe to that, and if it wasn't for HBCU, which you mentioned, who knows where I actually would have landed up if somebody didn't tell me that I was worthy of a college experience, a 4-year college experience. So I think that's important too.
I actually have a question just on top of what you just said.
Okay.
So I feel like the women in here who are moms are working moms. Like, we don't have the luxury of staying at home, but her mom stayed at home.
Right.
And she raised 2 kids. One went to Harvard and Princeton, the other one went to Princeton, and they went on to become extremely successful. What do you think about that, like in terms of her being a stay-at-home mom? Do you feel like that? Because I always have guilt about that. I don't know if I give my child enough time to help him develop into becoming the person that I want him to be, because I want him to be very successful. We all want our children to overachieve, right? What do you think about it? Because I feel like we're working so hard these days that it doesn't give us time to really kind of like hone in on our kids and raise kids that are like, doing phenomenal things.
Just say what I'm going to say. I'm going to put my coaching hat on for a second. And what I think was really in the book, right? She also talks about her mother in the opposite way, having, made the choice of being a stay-at-home mom, but also was not able to cultivate who she was inside. And her daughter seeing that, right? And the daughter making a very conscious effort of not being that as an adult for herself. So guilt can happen on both sides because you're going to be a stay-at-home mom, and then it's complete, and then under the notion that you're sacrificing who you are as a being, right, to raise little beings is an erroneous train of thought, right? So you can be a whole woman and raise whole other children, as well as contribute to the household, right? So remember, you're raising 2 beings. Her mom was raising 2 whole human beings, right? And chose to actually make them think about, what I loved about that book was, and the first part of the book was, the parents were, it's another human being, and you're a being too.
Thank you for relieving my guilt a little bit.
So, I'm a mother of a son that I raised, and I've been working all my whole life. And, I didn't feel guilty. But what did stand out, something that she said was that